You're lying in bed. The room is dim. Maybe there's a fan humming in the background, or a soft breeze slipping through the window. Wherever you are, you're ready to drift off. You didn't click this video by accident. You're here to let your mind wander, gently, quietly, into a world long gone. But be careful, because the world you're about to step into isn't the romanticized version of piracy Hollywood likes to sell. No swinging from ropes, no neatly dressed rogues with perfect teeth, and definitely no buried treasure maps with helpful red X's. No, you've just signed up for life as a real pirate. Salt-scarred, disease-ridden, half-drunk, mostly bored, and very, very tired. So take a deep breath. Let your muscles go slack. Lower the volume of your thoughts. And imagine, you wake up. It's dark. Pitch black, actually. And your bed? It's not a bed. It's a hard plank, sticky with sweat and damp from the sea. The air smells of rot, wood, old fish, and a kind of lingering human musk that no one on this vessel even thinks to question anymore. Someone coughs. Deep, rattling. Somewhere near your feet. Welcome aboard. Let's begin your very short-lived career as a pirate. You don't eat breakfast. Not because it's intermittent fasting, but because there is no breakfast. There's only what's left. A bucket of ship's biscuit, that's hardtack to you, stacked in a rotting barrel next to the wall. You grab one. It's rock solid. You have to smack it against the side of the ship just to knock off the worst of the mold. There's a small hole in the center. You assume it's from the baking process. It isn't. It's from the weevils. The biscuits come pre-infested. You eat it anyway, chewing slowly. Not for the taste, it has none, but because it's the only food you'll see for the next 8 hours. Maybe more. You wash it down with a gulp of something that once resembled water. It's thick, yellowish, and tastes like it had dreams of becoming soup but gave up halfway. There might be rum later, but only if the captain says so. Outside, the sun rises. You'd think the open sea would feel freeing. It doesn't. The waves roll with an indifference that makes you dizzy. You haven't seen land in a week. There are rats here with more rights than you. You scratch your head. Lice. There are no bathrooms. Just a bucket. And you don't always get to use it. If you're lucky, the crew is calm. If not, someone kicks it over. You wipe with your hand, or not at all. There's no soap. There's no towel. Your shirt doubles as both napkin and tissue. It hasn't been washed in, you've lost count. You don't remember the last time you had a bath. Maybe when it rained. Sometimes you strip to your trousers and stand in it, arms out, mouth open. You might feel clean for 3 minutes, until the clouds break and the sun bakes the salt water back into your skin. Your fingernails are black. Your feet are cracked. Your teeth? Wiggling. You don't know half their names. Not because they're secretive, but because no one talks unless they need to. Some are missing ears. Others walk with a limp. No one asks why. Everyone assumes it was a fight or a punishment. There's one guy called Red. You assume it's because of his beard. Then one day you catch a glimpse of the raw, infected stump where his hand used to be. You decide not to ask. No one is nice. Not really. They might share a scrap of meat or a bit of rope, but friendship doesn't float out here. Just necessity and desperation. There's a man who talks to a chicken. You've never seen him without it. It rides on his shoulder, sleeps near his hammock, and once you saw him feed it a chunk of his own biscuit. You think he's the sanest one here. You scrub the deck. You climb the rigging. You haul ropes that burn your palms and pull your shoulders out of line. And when the sails rip, you're the one who has to patch them. You, dangling 30 feet in the air, fighting the wind, the wet canvas flapping like it wants to toss you into the sea. You curse, quietly, because the bosun is watching. And if you fall, they'll just keep sailing. No one stops for a man overboard. The hours blur. The sun fries your skin by day. The cold gnaws your bones by night. You sleep in shifts, always half alert. Always ready for a shout, a cannon, a fight, or worse, the silence. Silence usually means trouble. Pirates had rules. You didn't think that when you signed up, but they're strict. Violations are punished harshly. Steal from the crew? You lose your nose. Start a fight without permission? You lose your share. Fall asleep on duty? You might lose your life. There's a code. You were supposed to read it. You didn't. Now you're learning it by living it. There's one you remember clearly. No women. No children. No fighting on the ship. 2 of those rules have already been broken. You're not sure if you should worry more about the third or the fact that no one seems to care. You thought there'd be treasure. There isn't. Most raids are for barrels. Rice. Sugar. Sometimes rum. Once, you all celebrated after stealing dried cod. Dried cod. You laughed like madmen, feasting on salted fish, and for a moment, the world made sense. Then someone got scurvy. Now every time you bleed from your gums, you wonder if you're next. You smell like salt, sweat, tar, and something else you can't quite name. Everyone does. The ship smells alive. Not in a good way. It's like the whole vessel is slowly decomposing. You stop noticing after a while. But visitors do. A merchant you boarded last week gagged when he stepped on deck. You almost felt bad for him. Almost. Then he tried to bribe the captain. Now he's scrubbing pots. If you're still awake, well done. You've already lasted longer than most first-time pirates. If this voyage lulled you even a little closer to sleep, leave a like. Subscribe if you want more boring history to doze off to. And comment below, where in the world are you watching from tonight? We've only just begun. You're not even through your first full day, and the storm's rolling in. But don't worry, we'll be right here, ready to sail deeper into the worst job you've ever dreamed about. You're still on the ship, still alive. That's already impressive. Most newcomers don't make it past the first week. But as night falls, things change. The ship creaks in a way that feels different. Not louder, just more personal. Like it's trying to speak to you. You roll over on your plank and try to sleep. You won't. You're on the late watch tonight. Lucky you. The stars are out, scattered across a sky so big it almost swallows you. It's beautiful if you could forget the smell and the rats and the fact that if you fall overboard, no one will hear you hit the water. You pace slowly, boots scuffing wood. Your eyes flick toward the horizon again and again, even though there's nothing there. You listen to the wind hitting the sails, the soft slap of water against the hull, and the occasional moan of the ship's timbers settling. Then you hear it. Not a splash, not a voice, just a sound you can't explain. You don't move. Then again, a faint creak, a shape against the darkness. You grip your belt. No sword, just a rusted knife. You blink. Nothing. It's probably just the ship. You tell yourself that 5 more times. You're not alone on this ship. There are passengers you never asked for. Rats. Dozens of them. Maybe hundreds. They come out at night, climbing ropes, chewing through barrels, leaving little black droppings everywhere. They're bold, too. One walks over your boot as if it owns the place. You once watched one eat a sleeping man's toe. No one woke him. No one wanted to. It begins with a breeze. Then the sail snaps. Then everything is chaos. The rain hits hard, almost sideways. The sky goes black. The ship tilts hard. You scramble, clutching rope, yelling into the wind, but no one can hear each other. Orders are shouted. No one listens. Everyone runs. Lightning flashes. For a second, you see a wave 3 stories high. Then it crashes into the deck. You fly. When you land, your back screams. You taste blood. You crawl. Water floods the deck. You bail with your hands. Someone vomits next to you. Then another wave. And everything resets. You don't sleep that night. No one does. By morning, 3 men are gone. No one says their names. A man is tied to the mast. He's accused of stealing food. You saw him do it. Everyone did. He was starving. He took half a biscuit from the stores, just enough to quiet his stomach. He thought no one would notice. They did. The punishment is up to the captain. He makes an example of him. He isn't whipped. He's marooned. You watch in silence as they row him to a small patch of sand. No water. No tools. No goodbye. The ship sails away. No one looks back. You realize something in that moment. This is not a democracy. This is survival. And kindness is not part of the code. The first sign is the gums. They bleed when you brush your teeth, except you haven't brushed in weeks. You just notice the blood one morning when you spit overboard. Your teeth ache. You ignore it. Then someone gets boils. Large, painful, leaking sores. His fever spikes. He starts shaking. Delirious. They quarantine him. That just means they tie him to a beam in the hold and stop feeding him. You hear him crying for 2 days. Then silence. No burial. No ceremony. His body is wrapped in old canvas and dumped overboard. You try not to watch. You try to sleep. You don't. You keep touching your jaw, checking your teeth, worrying. Whispers spread faster than scurvy. The crew is angry. The food is low. The pay, what little there is overdue. The captain is drunk. Again. Someone jokes about taking the ship. No one laughs. Later that night, a knife disappears. So does the bosun. You find his boot in the galley. Nothing else. The captain doesn't ask questions. The next morning, he calls everyone on deck. He reads from a page the pirate code. He reminds everyone what happens to traitors. He doesn't need to say more. There's a quiet tension now. No one makes eye contact. Everyone checks their knives twice. You wonder which side you're on. Days pass. No wind. The sails hang limp. The sea is still. No birds. No clouds. No movement. You drift. Water runs low. Again. Food, too. You chew leather. Literally. The grip from your belt. You soften it with spit and gnaw. It doesn't help. It just reminds you of how hungry you are. You start dreaming while awake. You see cities, markets, fruit, your mother's kitchen. You blink. Just see. Still no wind. You're still here? Unbelievable. You're tougher than most. Stronger than you know. Or maybe just too tired to exit the video. Either way, I'm glad. If your eyes are getting heavy, that's the idea. If you're somehow wide awake, maybe you're starting to understand just how strange, brutal, and bizarre life as a pirate really was. Leave a like if you're learning something in your sleep. Comment where you'd hide your treasure if you had any. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead. There's plenty more boring history where this came from. You haven't even met the most feared pirate of them all. But we'll get there. Right after you rest. You hear about him before you see him. His name carries weight. People say it low like it's a curse. Others won't say it at all. They call him the captain. But not your captain. Not the drunk fool who runs your current ship into storms and arguments. No, this one is different. He's a legend, and unfortunately, he's real. You first hear the rumors while docked near a lawless port. Little more than a floating swamp of broken ships and broken men. Someone mentions he sails under a black flag, but not just any flag. This one is stitched with red thread. Red, not white. It's supposed to mean blood. And he doesn't take prisoners. No mercy. No deals. No letters of marque. No excuses. He comes when you least expect it. And today, apparently, is one of those days. The lookout doesn't shout. He just stares. Wide-eyed. Then he drops the spyglass. You pick it up. You look through. And there he is. A ship, fast and sleek. Black wood. Sails like torn wings. It moves like it doesn't need wind. Like it wants you. You squint, and for a second you swear you see eyes on the bow, painted eyes. Watching. You don't breathe. Then comes the noise. A boom. Not thunder. Cannon. The deck shakes. People scream. You drop the glass. Someone yells, "To arms!" But it's already too late. The ship is on you. Grappling hooks fly. They board with practiced ease, like a shadow swallowing a candle. You see him now. The pirate. The one they all fear. He doesn't wear gold. No rings. No feathers. Just a dark coat, stained from God knows what. His beard is short. His eyes are dead. He moves slow, like nothing around him is urgent. He looks at you, then past you. He points. Someone behind you drops to their knees. No one speaks. He takes what he wants. Rum, food, weapons. He leaves your captain alive. Barely. Your crew is silent for hours afterward. When night falls again, no one sleeps. Not because of what happened, but because they know he might come back. And next time, he won't leave witnesses. The sea has no police. No order, only power. And you just met it. You understand now why pirates fear other pirates more than the Navy. Because the Navy wants to catch you. The others want to erase you. You finally sleep. But it's shallow, twitchy. You dream of black sails. And those painted eyes. The next morning, your captain is gone. No note. No goodbye. Just gone. You assume he jumped. No one is really surprised. The new man in charge used to clean the latrine bucket. That's how leadership works here. Whoever's left standing wins. You keep your head down. You say yes to everything. You start tying knots better, faster. You volunteer to fix the sails. No one likes you more, but they stop noticing you. That's enough. The ship drifts into hotter waters. The sun grows mean. Your skin blisters. Your lips crack. You ration your water. Someone goes mad and jumps overboard. No one follows. He thrashes, then stops. The crew says nothing. You ask if they knew him. They shrug. That night, you find a drawing in the hold. Scratched into the wall with a nail. Screwed childlike. But it's of the pirate. The one with the red-threaded flag. You stare at it too long. You wake up sweating. Maybe he'll come again. Or maybe he's already here. People whisper of ghosts at sea. Ships that shouldn't float. Men who died but didn't sink. You think they're just tired. But part of you wonders. When the wind dies again, you hear voices. Just whispers. Soft. Like someone talking from under the boards. You knock. Nothing. You knock again. Still nothing. You don't tell anyone. You don't want to be next. Someone is always next. Every few days, someone disappears. No noise. No fight. Just gone. They used to count the crew every morning. Now they don't bother. Fewer mouths to feed. You stop asking names. The new boy with the cut lip? He won't last. The old man with one eye? He's been eyeing the rum too hard. One of them will vanish soon. You pretend not to notice. It's easier. The ship pulls into a cove. Green cliffs. Shallow water. You're told to drop anchor. Then the order comes, shore party. You're picked. You and 5 others. You row to land. The sand is hot. Birds scream overhead. Someone thinks they saw monkeys. Someone else sees bones. You're told to look for fruit, clean water, anything. You find a stream. You also find a skeleton. Small. Maybe a child. You say nothing. You take the water. You head back. By nightfall, you're sailing again. No one speaks of the bones. Or the extra noise in the jungle. You lie in your hammock. A rat crawls over your chest. You flick it away. And try to sleep. But your eyes keep darting to the deck beams above you. You're looking for a face. You don't know whose. Just a face. You pull your blanket tighter. And try not to think. You're still alive. That's something. Maybe tomorrow will be better. But probably not. If you're still awake, thank you. Seriously. You've made it farther than many real pirates did. If this helped you drift, leave a like. Comment something you'd never expect to see on a pirate ship. And if you've subscribed already, welcome to the crew. We've still got oceans left to explore. But only if you're brave enough to keep listening. Or tired enough not to care. You wake up again. Not because you're rested, but because someone kicks your foot. No good mornings. No smiles. Just a grunt and a gesture to get up. You're late for the morning swab. The deck is already slick with sea spray and something else. Maybe fish guts, maybe worse. You don't ask. You just scrub. Your hands ache. Your back knots. Your knees sting. You find a nail with your palm and bleed for an hour before someone tosses you a dirty rag to wrap it. That's your bandage. Your reward? A bowl of porridge the consistency of glue, laced with tiny black things you hope are spices. They're not. You eat anyway. You have no choice. One of the crew starts singing. He's off-key, off-rhythm, and repeats the same 2 lines over and over. No one tells him to stop. You all just let it play like background noise. It's the closest thing to music you've heard in weeks. You begin to realize something. Most of your day isn't violence or plundering or sailing into the sunset. It's boredom. Endless, salty, humid boredom. You wait. You tie things that don't need tying. You check ropes you checked yesterday. You stare at the horizon like it might blink. Sometimes you count clouds. Other times you listen to the creaking of the wood and wonder how many more nights it'll hold together before it breaks apart like an old barrel. One day you hear a splash. Someone's hat blew off. He jumped in after it. He doesn't come back up. Everyone stops what they're doing for maybe 3 seconds. Then the bosun says, "Back to work." That's how much you matter here. Exactly 1 hat's worth. You patch a sail. You hammer a plank. You chase a chicken below deck for 30 minutes. And when you finally catch it, it pecks your eye. No one helps. One man laughs. You laugh too. Because if you don't, you'll cry. There's no doctor on board. There's someone who calls himself a doctor, but all he has is a rusty saw and a book in a language no one reads. When someone gets hurt, they're either patched with rum and rags or left to recover naturally. If the wound smells too bad, they throw the whole person overboard. You saw that once. A man with a leg wound, infected. By the time it turned green, it was too late. They tossed him without a word. You sleep that night with a blanket over your legs, just in case. Sometimes you think about jumping, not because you want to die, but because you want a bath. The idea of clean water on your skin feels like a myth. Even the rain feels dirty now. You miss the smell of soap, the feel of dry clothes, the sound of nothing, true silence. Here, silence is always a warning. Your ears are always waiting for a boom, a scream, a crack of wood, or the hiss of something sharp moving too fast toward you. One day a ship appears. Merchant. Slow. Heavy. The order is given, and the crew lights up. This is what they live for. You feel sick. You ready a rope. You grab your knife. You climb into the boarding boat. The waves are rough. You pull yourself up the side of their ship like a wet ghost. The first man you see drops his fruit basket and runs. You chase. Not out of malice. Out of protocol. You catch him by the shirt. He's crying. He's younger than you. He offers you a pouch of coins. You take it. Not because you want it. Because you have to. Your captain watches everything. Later, he'll ask what you got. If your answer is nothing, your reward is pain. You walk through their galley. Bread. Real bread. Still warm. You take a piece. You eat it. And for 2 minutes, you remember what life used to taste like. You take 2 more. Then you hear it. Gunfire. You run. Someone is down. The merchant's first mate, maybe. Your crewmate is standing over him, breathing heavy, knife dripping. You don't ask questions. You don't say anything. You return to your ship with bread, coins, and a new silence inside you. That night, the captain throws a feast. Salted pork, dried fruit. Everyone laughs too loud. You sit in the corner, chewing slowly. The bread is already gone. The silence stays. You get used to it. There's no guilt here. Only rules. Only survival. You lie awake that night, watching shadows on the beams above. You count them like sheep. 1, 2, 3. You blink. One is missing. You sit up. You look again. Just darkness. You shake it off. You lie back down. You don't sleep, but you close your eyes. That's close enough. You've been here long enough now to forget what day it is. Time doesn't pass. It drips. One salty, sour, sunburned moment at a time. If you're still here, you're doing better than most. Or maybe just too deep into the dream to climb out. Either way, you're one of us now. Leave a like if you're still drifting. Drop a comment if you'd rather be marooned than return to this deck again. And don't forget, there's still a long way to go. The sea has secrets. Some of them are still waiting for you. You wake up to whispers. You're not sure if they're real. Maybe someone on deck is talking. Maybe the waves are playing tricks on your ears. Or maybe your dreams are leaking into the morning again. You've stopped trusting the difference. Everything on this ship feels just a little wrong now. You put your boots on. They're still wet from yesterday. You check for rats just in case. One stares at you from the corner. Doesn't move. Doesn't blink. You leave it alone. You head above deck. The sky is gray. The ocean, flat. Someone says land is close. You don't believe it. No one does anymore. Land is a rumor. You've seen things that weren't there before. Whole islands that vanished. Lights where there should be none. A floating barrel that smelled like cinnamon and then burst into flame. You stopped asking why. The sea has answers, but it charges interest. You notice a new smell. Something sweet. You follow it. Barrels stacked near the galley. Sugar. Or something like it. The quartermaster slaps your hand before you get too close. He says it's not for eating. You nod. Walk away. 10 minutes later, the cook is screaming. One of the barrels exploded. Ants. Thousands. Maybe more. Big ones. The sugar wasn't sugar. No one eats for the rest of the day. You throw up over the side. Not from sickness, just nerves. The ants crawl into your dreams that night. You're sure one was on your chest when you woke up. You never find it. The carpenter finds something worse. A hole. Small, near the waterline. Wormwood, he says. Shipworms. They eat the wood from inside. They could have been there for weeks. By the time you see the damage, it's usually too late. He says he can patch it. You hope he's right. The idea of sinking is almost comforting now. Fast. Final. No more sunburn. No more rot. No more waiting for something worse. But the ship holds for now. You pass an island. Real this time. Lush. Green. Birds circling overhead. No anchor. No landing. The captain says it's cursed. You don't ask how he knows. You just watch it drift by. It looks like paradise. You think you see someone on the shore. Waving. You blink. Gone. Someone says the ship is haunted. He says it out loud. Bold move. By nightfall, he's gone. No fight. No noise. Just his boots. Left on deck. Neatly side by side. Someone tosses them overboard. No one wants ghost boots. You wake up the next day with a bloody nose. No reason. Just blood. You clean it with your sleeve. You see your reflection in a puddle. You look older. Your eyes don't look like yours. You keep moving. There's always work. A rope to tie. A barrel to shift. A sail to mend. Something to scrub that will never be clean. You fix things that stay broken. That's life here. Someone finds a map in the captain's quarters. Old. Faded. Edges burnt. It has a red X. You laugh. Not because it's funny. Because it's so ridiculous it might be true. The crew gets excited. Treasure fever. They talk in hushed tones. Plans. Mutiny. You don't say a word. You just listen. You've seen what happens when plans go bad. It always ends with blood on the deck. Or worse, nothing at all. The captain locks the map away. 2 days later, he's dead. No wounds. No poison. Just dead. Face down in his bunk. Eyes open. You help carry the body. He feels warm. Too warm. They wrap him in sailcloth. Give him to the sea. The new captain is chosen by vote. The first time you've ever seen democracy here. It lasts 6 minutes. Then someone pulls a knife. Back to the old way. The man with the loudest voice wins. He's missing 2 fingers. His first command is to open the captain's chest. The map is gone. Someone suggests burning the ship. Start over. Find something new. You pretend not to hear. You tie your knots. You clean your boots. You avoid mirrors. And you wait. You always wait. The sky turns purple one night. Not orange. Not pink. Purple. The sea glows. No moon. No wind. No sound. You feel like you're being watched. Everyone does. No one says it. But you see it in their faces. They move slower. They whisper more. They keep knives closer to their beds. You sleep with yours in your hand. You stop dreaming. You're not sure if you sleep at all anymore. But you close your eyes. You count your breaths. And you hope. If this put you to sleep, I'm glad. If you're still here, even better. You've survived things most historians leave out of the books. Real piracy wasn't treasure and glory. It was rot and fear and silence and sky. Leave a like if you made it through. Comment what you'd do with a cursed map if it landed in your lap. And if you haven't subscribed, now's the time. There's more to this voyage. But you need your rest first. Close your eyes. We'll keep watch. You wake up to shouting. Not angry shouting, excited. That's worse. Excitement usually means someone's about to die, or something is about to go very, very wrong. You step onto the deck. They've found it. They think they've found it. The treasure. The one from the missing map. Someone says the captain didn't lock it up. Someone else says he ate it. Someone else says it burned itself into the back of his eyes. You don't care. Because now, the ship is steering toward a reef no one has ever heard of. Not on any chart. Not spoken of in ports. Just suddenly there. Sharp rocks. Clear water. An island that looks like it doesn't belong. Too green. Too perfect. Like it's waiting for you. The anchor drops. Boats lower. You're in the second one. Everyone has weapons. Even the cook. He brings a ladle. You hold your knife tighter. The row to shore is quiet. No one speaks. The air changes. Hotter. Heavier. Smells like flowers and rust. You step onto the sand. Crunches. Not like sand should. Not soft. More like glass. You look closer. Shells. Bones. Tiny ones. Something moves in the trees. No one follows it. You march uphill. Toward the X if there ever was one. Someone trips on a root. Doesn't get up. The crew walks around him. You do too. There's a clearing. At the center, a stone. Just one. Too smooth. Carved with something that looks like letters, but not. A hole in the middle. Someone says to dig. You don't. You sit on a rock. You drink water slowly. Watch. They dig. Shovels, hands, whatever they can use. The hole gets deeper. Still nothing. Then a scream. Not from the hole. From the trees. Everyone freezes. Another scream. Then silence. You grab your knife. Feels useless. The man in the hole keeps digging. Then stops. He found something. Metal. A box. Small, rusted. He lifts it. It shakes. Everyone watches. He opens it. Inside, nothing. Dust. One tooth. Maybe human. Maybe not. He holds it up. Everyone stares. No one speaks. Then he laughs. Loud. Too loud. And then he stops. Collapses. Gone. Not dead. Just gone. Eyes open but not seeing. Like his soul left without warning. You walk away. No one stops you. You reach the boat. Push it into the tide. Start rowing. Someone joins you. You don't look. Back on the ship, the sails are up. You leave the island without words. No one asks what happened. No one wants to remember. That night, the wind howls in a way that sounds like voices. No one sleeps. You lie in your hammock. Hands on your chest. Eyes wide open. You think about the box. The tooth. What it meant. If anything. You decide it didn't. Just another story. Another thing to chase. The next morning, someone is laughing. By himself. Sitting cross-legged on the deck. Playing with a rope like it's a pet. You avoid him. But that night, you find yourself doing the same thing. Just tying knots. Over and over. You don't know why. It helps. Maybe. The new captain is quiet. Too quiet. You haven't seen him eat. Or blink. He gives orders like he's reading them from somewhere else. You follow them anyway. It's easier. The sea stays calm for days. Then weeks. The sky doesn't change. The sun rises and sets in the same spot. You start to wonder if you're moving at all. The compass spins. The maps don't help. Someone starts drawing their own. Weird lines. Strange circles. You throw it overboard when they're not looking. You've learned better. One day a whale passes by. Enormous. Covered in scars. As I looks right at you. You feel smaller than ever. It disappears. You never mention it. You start talking to the stars. They don't answer. But they don't lie either. At least you don't think they do. You stop measuring days. You just count scars. New ones show up without reason. You think you cut yourself during a storm. But there wasn't a storm. You try not to think about it. Thinking hurts more than your blisters now. One morning, the ship creaks differently. Everyone stops moving. The mast is cracked. Someone says it's cursed. You agree. But only in your head. You start dreaming again. Of dirt. Grass. Apples. Real ones. Cold water on your feet. Silence. A silence that doesn't feel dangerous. You wake up crying. Just a little. No one sees. Or if they do, they don't care. The ship drifts. Still no treasure. Still no end. You close your eyes. You pretend you're anywhere else. But the salt always brings you back. If you're somehow still awake, you might be cursed too. Or just curious. Either way, thank you for sailing this far. Leave a like if you made it through this nightmare voyage. Comment what you think was in the box, really. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's your chance. We've still got more of this slow-motion horror show to ride out. But only if your eyes stay open, or your dreams bring you back. You're starting to forget your own name. Not because of magic. Not because of madness. Just time. Too much of it. Spread too thin. Stretched across too many days that all look the same. You remember it sounded strong once. Your name. Now it just feels heavy. You don't say it anymore. No one calls you anything. Just hey or a nod. It's enough. You spend the morning watching the clouds. They're thick. Mean-looking. The sea's gone that pale green color again. Like it's thinking. No one says it out loud, but everyone knows. Storm's coming. The sails come down early. Loose ropes are tied. Barrels double-checked. Knives strapped down. Water sealed tight. You check your hammock, then laugh. Like that will matter. By nightfall, the wind is already singing. A low, mean tune. You sit on deck, eyes wide. As the sky tears open, rain hits like stones. You can't see 5 feet ahead. The world becomes noise. Yelling, cracking, with screaming under pressure. You hold the rail. Your arms shake. Your stomach turns. Lightning hits the water. Too close. You smell burning. You look up. The mainmast is split. Not cracked, split. A man falls. No one catches him. No one even flinches. Everyone's holding on for their own lives. You try to breathe. It doesn't help. The ship lifts, groans, crashes. You feel your ribs rattle. You taste salt. Or blood. You can't tell. Something snaps behind you. A sail rips. You crawl. You can't hear your thoughts. You wonder if this is it. You hope. Then, just as fast as it started, it stops. Dead silence. The sea is still. Too still. Like it's catching its breath. Like it's not done. You wait. The clouds don't move. You lie flat, soaked, heart pounding. Your ears ring. Someone sobs. Then throws up. Then sobs again. You fall asleep there. Face down. Next to a broken barrel. When you wake, there's a hole in the ship. Not big, but wrong. Too round. Burned at the edges. Like something inside the storm didn't just want to hit you. It wanted in. You say nothing. You fix it. You've learned better. The new captain is missing. Gone again. Same boots left behind. Same silence. No one cares anymore. The ship chooses who stays. You just obey. A few crew members whisper about a mutiny. Again. It never happens. They just get quieter. Then one day you notice they're not there. You don't remember them leaving. You just forget they existed. Their hammocks are empty, but you don't know whose they were. You stop asking questions. The water barrels are low. You're down to sips. Someone suggests catching rain. You all laugh. Not because it's funny, because it hasn't rained since the storm. Not a drop. Your lips crack. You drink salt water by accident. Or on purpose. You vomit. You keep moving. The ship finds another island. This one isn't on any map. Of course. You anchor. You row. Again. The island is flat. Black sand. No birds. No trees. No sound. Just one thing in the center. A door. Made of stone. Half buried. No hinges. No handle. Just there. You all stand around it. No one wants to touch it. But someone does. Of course. They vanish. Not suddenly. They just walk through it. And don't come back. One by one, the others follow. You stay behind. Alone. You stare at the door. You feel it looking back. Then you leave. Back to the boat. Back to the ship. You set the sail yourself. You don't know where you're going. Doesn't matter. Everywhere feels the same now. The stars aren't where they used to be. The moon flickers sometimes. You don't comment. You just steer. It's quieter now. Sometimes you think the ship likes it that way. Creaks in a rhythm now, like breathing. You sleep beneath that sound. You wake to it. It hums through your bones. One night you dream of land. Real land. Streets. A market. Chickens. You cry when you smell bread. You touch your mother's hand. Then wake up. Alone. Again. You eat a biscuit. Tastes like wood. Your gums bleed. You spit red over the side. A fish follows it. Its eyes are too big. It smiles. You blink. It's gone. You're starting to lose time. You measure it in new scars. In dead seagulls. In knots you don't remember tying. One day you reach a harbor. Real this time. Ships. People. You drop anchor. You step off the boat. And realize, no one sees you. You speak. No one hears. You touch a man's shoulder. He shivers. Turns. Looks through you. You're not here. You never were. You go back to the ship. It accepts you. Welcomes you. You belong here now. The sea has swallowed your name. And spat out something else. You lie in your hammock. Close your eyes. And for the first time, you're not afraid. If you've reached this far, somehow, thank you. Leave a like if the waves didn't claim you yet. Drop a comment about where you think the door led. And subscribe if you're ready to drift deeper next time. This voyage doesn't end. It only sleeps. And maybe tonight, so will you. You drift. Not sailing. Not floating. Just existing. The ship moves, but you don't feel it. The sails rise and fall, but you don't remember setting them. You're alone now. At least you think you are. You stopped counting crew days ago. Stopped looking below deck. Whatever's there doesn't come out. You don't go in. It's a quiet arrangement. One morning you spot land. Not distant. Not imagined. Close. Solid. Real. You lower the anchor. Catches on something. Maybe rocks. Maybe bones. You leave it. The rowboat still works. You step in, oars in hand. The sea smooth as glass. You row without effort. The island approaches like it was waiting. Shoreline is soft. Too soft. Not sand. It sticks to your boots. You wipe it off and it comes back. Like it wants to stay. You walk. Up a slope. Through what once might have been a village. Now it's broken huts. Rotting wood. The suggestion of human life long erased. You find a doorway. The house is gone. Just the frame left. You walk through it anyway. Feels heavy. Your heart beats faster. You hear laughter. Children. A woman singing. But there's no one here. Only your shadow, long and thin. It flickers. You keep walking. At the top of the island is a tree. Dead. Blackened. Burnt to the roots. Around it, stones. Not placed. Thrown. Names carved. One of them is yours. You stare. Don't blink. Don't move. The wind picks up. You sit down next to the stone. Not because you're tired, but because your legs stop working. You close your eyes and hear the ocean again. Behind your eyelids, the sails flap. The wood groans. Your hammock creaks. You open your eyes. You're back on the ship. Same deck. Same sky. Same knife scar on your hand. You check the date. Nothing. No calendar. No way to measure the time that just passed. If it passed at all. The island is gone. Vanished. You didn't dream it. You taste the ash. It's still on your tongue. You don't tell anyone. Not that there's anyone to tell. Days pass. You mark them by the moon. But the moon is wrong now. Sometimes full 3 nights in a row. Sometimes missing. One night it turns red. The next, green. You stop looking. You focus on the rope in your hands. Pull. Tie. Loop. Over and over. You realize something. You're not scared anymore. You should be. But the fear burned out. Like everything else. You just are. You think about your first day. The way the ship smelled. The food. The crew. The storm. You think about the man with the chicken. The boy who sang. The tooth in the box. They're all still with you, somehow. Even the ones who vanished. They echo in the boards. In the sails. In the water dripping from your coat. You look at your reflection in a puddle. For a moment it smiles back. But you didn't smile. You stop looking. The sea is changing again. Not rough, just strange. It glows at night now. Blue trails behind the boat. Fish that flicker like candles. They follow you. Always three. Same shapes. You name them. Not out loud. In your head. Because names matter. Yours is gone. But you remember the fish. You feed them crumbs. They don't blink. You start talking to them. First it's a joke. Then a habit. Then something else. They answer. Not with words. But with presence. A flick of the fin. A bump against the boat. They know you. They're the only ones who do. You whisper stories to them. What land felt like. What bread tasted like. What a hug meant. You think they understand. Or maybe they pity you. Either way, they stay. The stars shift again. Patterns you don't recognize. You trace them with your finger. One looks like a door. The other, a noose. You close your eyes. Sleep comes easier now. Not deep, not peaceful, but clean. Dreamless. Just darkness. You wake without fear. You clean the deck. You patch the sail. You eat the biscuit. You drink the water. You stare at the sky. The fish are there. The ship is moving. You don't know where. It doesn't matter. The journey is the point. Not the treasure. Not the ending. Not even the story. Just the drifting. If you've made it to this point, I don't know whether to congratulate you or apologize. But either way, I'm grateful. Leave a like if you found some piece of peace here. Comment what you'd name your 3 ghost fish. And subscribe if you're brave or tired enough to return. Because this story doesn't end. It just floats. Like you. Always just a little lost. And maybe finally okay with it. You see lights. Faint at first. Like stars fallen into the sea. But they're steady. Rhythmic. Not natural. Not fireflies. Not reflections. Lanterns. A harbor. The ship turns toward it without command. The sails adjust on their own. You don't speak. You just watch. It's been weeks since you saw another vessel. Months, maybe. You'd lost track before you stopped trying. But this is different. Closer now, you see a pier. Wood but clean. New. Untouched by the ocean's hunger. Buildings line the shoreline. Perfect squares. Symmetrical. Too symmetrical. You dock. The rope coils without you. The ship rocks gently. You disembark. The boards under your boots don't creak. The air doesn't move. No birds. No wind. You walk into the town. It's empty. Not abandoned, just waiting. Shops fully stocked. Fruit on carts. Bread warm in windows. You touch it. It doesn't rot. You take a bite. Tastes like nothing. Like memory. You drop it. It bounces. Doesn't bruise. You move on. Down alleys with no end. Past houses with no doors. Only windows. No curtains. Just glass. Inside, more emptiness. You keep walking. You reach a square. In the center, a fountain. Water flows, but you don't hear it. You kneel. Touch it. Your fingers stay dry. You look at your reflection. It's not yours. It's younger. Cleaner. Smiling. You blink. Gone. You turn back to the dock. The ship is gone. So are your footprints. The sky above is still night, but the stars don't move. Time has stopped, or you've slipped outside of it. You sit. On the pier. Back against a post. Waiting. Not for rescue. Not for sense. Just waiting. Eventually the sea returns. Or maybe the illusion ends. The buildings fade. The wood rots. The bread molds in seconds. You smile. Familiar chaos. You stand. Your ship is back. It never left. You climb aboard. The deck welcomes you with groans. The sail snaps. The compass spins again. The harbor disappears behind you. The lights sink. You don't look back. You've learned not to. Every time you've turned around, something vanishes. Best to face forward. Even if there's nothing ahead. The ocean opens. Endless again. You lower the anchor for no reason. Let it drag. You hum a tune. One you don't remember learning. But your mouth knows it. Carries on the wind. You hear someone whistle it back. You freeze. There's no one behind you. But the song continues. In perfect rhythm. You sing now. Not loud. Just enough. The ship listens. You think it sings too. That night you don't dream. But when you wake, your hand is covered in ink. Symbols. Words you can't read. But they feel familiar. You wash them. They stay. Someone once said every sailor carries a curse. Maybe this is yours. Or maybe it's a map. You don't care anymore. Maps lie. You trust the sky now. Even when it's wrong. Even when the stars wink out one by one. Even when the moon shatters. Yes. One night it just cracks. Splits. Then reappears whole the next. You blinked. And it was back. You stop questioning it. You learn to accept things breaking. Your boots. Your knife. Your memory. You stitch what you can. And let the rest sink. There's comfort in that. In the letting go. In the silence that follows. You find peace in the repetition. The waves. The work. The endless sea. And you wonder, maybe this is what they meant. When they said freedom. Not gold. Not escape. Just drifting. Weightless. Unseen. Unwanted. But untouchable. You start to forget what pain felt like. Not because it's gone. Because it's part of you now. Like your shadow. Or your name, whatever it used to be. You try to write it. But the ink dries into dust. You don't try again. You sit at the bow. Feet hanging off. Water dark beneath you. The fish are gone. Even they got tired. You envy them. But you don't blame them. You're not the same. You never will be. And you don't want to be. If this all feels heavy, that's okay. That's what real history is. Not glory. Not victory. Just wait. Born quietly. And maybe you're asleep now. Maybe this found you in the middle of the night. And you're drifting with me. So thank you. Leave a like if your eyes are half closed. Comment the name you forgot. And subscribe if you still believe in stories that take their time. We're almost at the end. But not yet. There's one more tide to ride. One more truth to sink. Before you can finally let go. The sea is calm. Completely still. Like it's holding its breath. Like it's waiting for something. You lie on the deck. Not asleep. Just still. The wood beneath you is warm. Worn smooth by time and footsteps. Most of them gone now. You're the last. Or the first. You're not sure anymore. There's a glow on the horizon. Not the sun. Not fire. Just light. It doesn't move. It doesn't grow. But it's there. Always just ahead. You raise the sail. No wind. Still the ship moves. Drawn toward the light by something deeper than current. You stopped steering days ago. The ship knows where to go. It doesn't need you anymore. Or maybe it never did. You walk the deck one last time. Touch the mast. Run your fingers across the names carved into the rails. Some are familiar. Most are not. Some were real. Some maybe never were. You whisper each one aloud. Prayer. A roll call. A goodbye. Below deck, everything's quiet. The hammocks swing in unison like they're still occupied. You nod at them. A silent farewell. The galley still smells like biscuits and rot. You don't go in. The hold is sealed. You haven't opened it in months. You don't want to know what's inside. Maybe nothing. Maybe everything you lost. The sky is colorless now. Not gray. Not blue. Just blank. Like the sea stole the sky too. You sit at the stern looking back. The wake is gone. No trail. No proof you were ever here. You take the last biscuit from your pocket. You toss it into the water. It doesn't sink. It floats. Then dissolves. Like everything else. You don't cry. You haven't cried in ages. The tears dried out with your name. The light is closer. You stand. The ship slows. The glow spills across the deck. It hums. Not loudly. Just enough to feel. It reaches your bones. You step forward. The bow cuts the glow. It doesn't fight back. It welcomes you. Like the sea did. Like the ship did. You close your eyes. Just for a second. And when you open them, you're not on the ship. You're standing. On something solid. Stone maybe. It's warm. Smooth. All around you is light. Not blinding. Not cold. Just soft. The kind of light that remembers. It doesn't speak. It doesn't ask. It just listens. You feel it. The stories you carried. The ones you heard. The lives that lived in your silence. They all come forward now. Not as ghosts. Not as pain. Just shapes. Ideas. Whispers. You sit down. The light joins you. And you finally understand. There was no treasure. No escape. No end. Just this. The letting go. The weight sliding off your shoulders. The story no longer needing to be told. Because it told itself. Every knot you tied. Every name you forgot. Every fish that watched. Every scream that never came. They mattered. Even if no one else saw. You lie back. The light covers you like a blanket. The warmth sinks deeper. And deeper. Until you're part of it. Not lost. Not gone. Just here. Finally. Still. Quiet. And for the first time since the voyage began, you sleep. If you've made it all the way here, you're something special. Thank you for listening. Thank you for drifting. Leave a like if this voyage gave you rest. Comment a name, real or imagined, that deserves to be remembered. And subscribe if you want more stories that start slow and never quite end. Because history isn't about noise. It's about memory. And you're part of it now. So close your eyes. We're done sailing for today. You thought it was over. But stories like waves don't end. They just fold into each other. Build, break, return. Even silence leaves an echo. You feel it now. Not the sea, not the ship. But something under your skin. Faint. Familiar. Like the creak of a rope you haven't touched in years. You're somewhere else now. Not land. Not sea. Memory. You walk through it like fog. Tavern. A laugh. The weight of coins in your pocket that were never yours. The sharp sound of boots on cobblestone. You remember smells. Spilled rum. Gunpowder. Sweat soaked into cloth that was never washed. You see faces. A man with silver teeth. A woman who drank like she'd die tomorrow. A boy with ink-stained fingers. Always sketching ships he'd never build. They're all here. Half-formed. Too fast to follow. You let them pass. No need to hold on now. You keep walking. The alley leads to a dock. Your dock. Your ship. Back again. But smaller. Simpler. Wood pale and new. The name on the hull still clear. You don't remember naming it. You don't remember choosing this life. But somehow it chose you. You run your hand along the rail. It hums beneath your palm. You don't ask why. You step aboard. The deck groans. Not from age. But welcome. Below deck the hammocks are empty. But not cold. Just waiting. You sit. You breathe. Smells like rope, sea, and old dreams. You find a journal. Yours. The ink is faded. Pages warped. You open to the last page. One sentence. Still here. You smile. That's enough. Above, the sails ripple. But there's no wind. The ship rocks gently. The sky above cracks open. Not with thunder, but music. Not the kind with notes. The kind you feel behind your eyes. A rhythm older than time. You lie down on the deck. Eyes to the stars. The real ones this time. They blink slowly. Like they see you. They remember you. You're part of their chart now. Another mark for some sailor to misread in the future. Another mystery for another midnight. You don't mind. Let them wonder. Let them chase your shadow. You've chased enough ghosts. You sleep under the stars. The story sleeps with you. But it's not over. You feel the wood shift beneath you. Not in protest. In promise. There are more coasts. More wrecks. More wrong turns and almost endings. The sea never ends. It just waits. So when you're ready, whenever that is, the ship will be here. Your hammock. Your deck. Your stars. Until then, drift. Quietly. Softly. Deeply. Like all good endings. And if you're still somehow listening, leave a like if your heart floated a little lighter. Comment the first name that came to your mind just now. And subscribe if you want the sea to sing you to sleep again. Because we'll be here. When you're ready. Waiting.